Here's my recipe for chicken taco soup. Here are the ingredients you're going to need before you start this recipe. Ground chicken. We're going to brown this up and put it into a pot before we put it in our crock pot. This is a crock pot recipe. I'm not going to put it on a pot on the stove and just cook it. I ain't got time for that. Taco seasoning. Reduced sodium. We prefer reduced sodium because it's a lot better and more healthier. Put this in your taco meat or chicken. And then your choice of pasta sauce. And I'm going to choose garlic and herb. Though this big can is not required, but if you want it to be as soupy, you've got to have this. Next, diced tomatoes and green chilies. Trust me on this. Just trust me. And before we get to the seasonings, we're going to also add kidney beans. It's going to be a soup, so we're going to have to make sure we get our protein. This is going to be a very high protein meal. And we're going to add our diced onion. And not to forget, we're also going to add shredded cheese into this as well. Probably the entire bag. And hopefully this meal will last us for the next couple of days until I get paid, which is this weekend. Now, on to the seasonings. We're going to add Dr. Pepper? Black pepper. Chicken seasoning. Italian seasoning. Oregano leaves. Minced onion, even though we have a whole thing of diced onion, just add more to it. Trust me. Let's see here. Basil leaves. And finally, garlic powder. Now, all of these seasonings are what I add. I eyeball it. I don't add an exact amount. Or like a teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever. I eyeball it, so I add whatever I desire. Now, these seasonings are optional. If you want flavor, add your own flavor, seasonings, whatever the hell you want. To get started, you're going to add your ground chicken, and you're going to put it at a medium heat. And because it's not fully defrosted, we're going to go ahead and put this on, and it will cook faster. And when it's all crumbled up and it's actually cooked, we're going to add our taco seasoning to it, about half a packet. Once it's all cooked up and chopped up, I added a half a packet of the taco seasoning. Now, it's optional if you want to drain it. I did not drain it. Now, from here on, I cut this off for now. It was at a medium heat, but it's off, so I'm going to let it just cook through still. We're going to go ahead and add our seasoning to the chicken. Trust me on this. And we're going to go ahead and add the onion. So we're going to go ahead and add our chicken seasoning. Now, I just eyeball it, so I add whatever I want at this point. There's no specific amount. Black pepper. We love black pepper in this house, so don't knock it until you try it. Let's see, basil leaves, just a little bit. We don't really use a lot of basil leaves. Oregano. And we also use Italian seasoning. We use it in just about every crock pot meal, especially when we are adding pasta sauce and beans. And finally, garlic powder. That's all I'm going to add because, as you can see, if you look at it, it's very full. So we're going to go ahead and just mix it up. Just let it get fully in. So much seasoning. It'll make the chicken very, very, very yummy. It's going to be so flavorful. And of course, the chicken's already brown on the bottom, so it is done. And we're going to go ahead and add our chopped onion. I think we're going to do about half because of how much is in there. Okay, I had to open it. It took a minute. I had to use my teeth. But we're just going to add just a very little bit. Like so. Of course, if we still have leftovers, this is going to go in the crock pot. So save some, or use your own onion if you have some, but just save some of it. Okay? And now we're just going to let this cook on low heat. So just very low because it's already cooked enough. And we're going to add this, and it'll just be cooked even more. Just trust me. But yes, we're going to let it cook, and now we're going to add the crock pot stuff to the crock pot. Okay, now that we got our crock pot set up, please use a crock pot liner. I recommend it. You don't have to use it, but this keeps it from like where you have to clean the crock pot. Now let's go ahead and add pasta sauce. After you add your pasta sauce, you're going to add a half a cup of water. you're going to add your diced tomatoes and green chilies. Put it all in there. And you're going to add your dark red kidney beans. By now, you should have already cut this off and it should be done. Go ahead and add this to the crock. Just dump it like so. And now we're going to dump the rest of the onions in there. And we are officially going to stir this up. Now, I asked my husband if he really wanted taco soup. He wanted to be like a chili consistency because he wanted to use chips with it. So we're going to see what we can do. And when you're done mixing it, we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our taco seasoning. Now when you're done with that, you're going to add more seasoning. We're going to add some more chicken seasoning. I just eyeball it. I just like to add more seasoning to everything. My husband likes it, so. And then we are going to add, what is it? Basil leaves. So add basil leaves. Okay. And more black pepper. Oregano. Italian seasoning. And then you mix it all up. And my spoon broke. Okay, time to get another spoon. Now, you're going to go ahead and put a lid on it, and you're going to cook it on high for like an hour and a half, or until it's like thickened up to your consistency that you like. Or if you like want it soupy, just let it cook for an hour. Just make sure you watch the thickness or the water or the pasta sauce. Just make sure it's not too thick and you'll have soup. If you want thicker, you know, cook a bit longer. And now we wait for that to get done, and then the final step is when it's about done, we add shredded cheese on top, which I will show. And then we don't stir it or nothing, leave it there, and I'll be making biscuits with it. Since I don't have any more bread to add with it, and I don't want chips to dip it in like my husband wants, I'm just going to use biscuits and just do it that way. It's been about 45 minutes. We're going to go ahead and check on this. It looks pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and just give it a stir. And just let it all soak in. It smells really good. I can really smell the taco seasoning for sure. But it's actually starting to thicken up, so we're going to let it cook just a little bit longer. And while that's still cooking, we're going to go ahead and do our biscuits. Depending on the kind of oven you have and how you want your biscuits, we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 325 for about 14 minutes. And we're going to lay out our biscuits like so. Please ignore my pan. I tried to clean it so many times. The stains aren't coming out, so just ignore those. And then once the oven's done preheating, we're going to go ahead and put it in there, and then we're going to add the cheese to the crock pot. Because I found extra cheese, this is from the food bank, so what they gave us. We're going to go ahead and just add this real quick into the crock pot. That way it's cheesy. And when the biscuits are done, we're just going to add the 2 cheese blend with finer cheese on top to give it that effective flavor. Just trust me. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying all the times, but I know what I mean. So if you know what I mean, just trust the process. Okay, let's go ahead and add the entire bag of cheese. And we're going to give it a really big mix, and it'll definitely cook up. It might be really cheesy, but that's okay. My husband will eat it anyway, and I know I will too. But it also makes it really thick. Once it's stirred, you're just going to put the top back on there and just let it cook. Biscuits are now going in the oven. Since biscuits are about done, let's go ahead and add the shredded cheese. Just like this, don't stir it. Leave it as is and cover it up. And let it cook the rest of the way until the biscuits are done. Biscuits are done. Let's check on the crock pot. And it's pretty much done, except for the middle cheese for the melting part, but that is a-okay. Let's go ahead and plate our... And here's the finished product. Now, let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to dip the biscuit. Really good. Hubby and I's rating is a 8 out of 10 for this dish. Go ahead and make it and try it for yourself. Hope you enjoy. See you later.